Police claim case files never went missing. Cops quit using Lycan Funeral Home over health concerns. And why are we fighting up to build a $900 million gas to shore white elephant? I am Noriko Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Just hours after the prosecutors in the harassing murder case admitted to not being in possession of the case files, the cops defended themselves, saying that the file never disappeared, but was not available because investigators were doing additional work on it. The police force explained that the file was later handed over to the junior police legal advisor, Mr. Mandel Moore, who is now prosecuting the matter. So Crime Chief Wendell Blenheim is basically trying to say that it wasn't missing, it was just late. And unfortunately, this is a very common occurrence because of the slow, antiquated paper system we currently use. Today, the Public Accounts Committee is back in action, which means there are more revelations of government waste to expose. Today, the PAC learned that between July 2016 and June 2017, some $3.9 million Guyana dollars was paid to a contracted employee of the then Ministry of the Presidency, even though their contract ended in July of 2016. Today, the monies has not been recovered. Reports state that the employee in question was sent on leave shortly after the government change in 2015. The officer remained on leave until the contract expired, but continued to be paid 1 year after. The Attorney General report noted that another 5 officers who worked in the Department of Citizenship were overpaid salaries totaling $593,554. While there was no reoccurrence, these sums have also not been recovered. However, the government says it's pursuing the matter. The Ministry of Health has instructed the police force not to use the Lycan Funeral Parlor anymore because Lycan too nasty. Apparently, the funeral parlor failed an inspection as it was found in breach of certain health protocols, including sanitation. The parlor was reportedly put on probation and given some time to meet the health protocols recommended by the ministry. However, it failed to make the changes, which resulted in the ban on the police using Lycan. On Tuesday, the cops arrested one of their own after initial evidence implicated her in an offense of simple larceny. Woman Constable, I hate that they call him Woman Constable, but Woman Constable Nilisha Mahaika, who works at the Mahaika police station, reportedly withdrew $500,000 from her colleague's bank account earlier this month. It is unclear how Mahaika got her hands on her colleague's bank card and how she managed to come by the password for said card. When questioned by detectives, Mahaika reportedly claimed to be a master hacker and hacked the account instead. However, Mahaika here seems to be a serial thief. According to Big Smith News Watch, police sources indicated that back in 2018, she did the same exact thing to a different colleague. But the thing I want to know is, how do you keep your job as a cop if you're a known thief? Either way, hide your wallets around Constable Mahaika. Are you one of the chosen few that benefit from duty-free? Good for you! Check out these amazing vehicles that just arrived at Best Buy Auto Sales. This 2016 Toyota Harrier Grand Sports Edition, this 2014 Range Rover Evoque, and this 2016 Lexus RX 200T are all on sale. They are all fully loaded and come with all modern features. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Peterborough Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them Noriko sent you for this sweet deal. On Tuesday night, Police Sergeant Rajendra Major was on patrol when he was struck down by a drunk driver near the Demerara Harbour Bridge. According to reports, the suspect, Abdul Safraz, was speeding when he hit the officer's motorcycle. He then ran over the cop and continued driving without stopping. Man, that's harsh. Safraz then crashed into another vehicle with occupants. He was arrested and remains in police custody. The officer was taken to the hospital, where he remains in a critical condition. Yesterday, 27-year-old Melroy Moore of Phoenix, Laguan Island, was charged for beating his uncle to death last week over a bunch of plantain. Moore was not required to plead to the indictable charge of murder, and he was remanded to prison until July 29th. Stupid, hot-headed youth. On Wednesday morning, a BK Aviation aircraft ran off the runway at Atterimbang Airstrip, but there were no immediate reports of injuries, a senior official of the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority said. She said GCAA inspectors were on their way to the scene of the incident. The extent of the damage to the aircraft was not immediately known as a press time. We will update you as the details arise. A quick cent is better than a slow dollar. Sell Digicel Top Up and watch your money grow. This is one of the simplest investments you can make to let your money earn you money. Call 685-3109 and get started today. It's now time for today's Runner Report. Today, the nation recorded 168 new cases. There are now 503 persons dead, 11 persons in the ICU, 1,190 persons in home isolation, and the total number of confirmed cases around the nation now stands at 21,223. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds, and remember to give 6 meters space between you and others. Speaking of the Rona, the Health Ministry explained today that a total of 122,050 persons, or 25.3% of the nation's adult population, is now fully vaccinated, while a total of 240,392 persons have received the first dose, representing 49.4% of the population. Presently, there are a few hotspots around the country, particularly in Regions 9, Region 3, Region 4, Region 6, and Region 10. Today, 25-year-old Terrence Bastiani was charged for armed robbery committed on Delon Walker on February 20th. He pleaded not guilty to the charge. Nevertheless, he was denied bail and was placed on remand until July 28th. Have a business and need access to more Goondu balls? Register it on one of the fastest growing business directories in Guyana. Sign up for free on snap.gy and get your business listed today. And yes, you've heard me right, it's absolutely free. Get listed today on snap.gy. And now for our stupid news of the day. You know what's pretty stupid? During a recent consultation for the $900 million gas to shore energy project, Kaicha News asked Exxon directly why they are pushing such an expensive construction project on the Guyanese people. Well, Mike Ryan, the production manager for ExxonMobil Guyana, admitted that it wasn't their idea, it was the government's, and they're only helping because they were asked. He also said that he understands that the world is moving towards renewables because of prices and, of course, pollution. But this government really wants the natural gas, so they will give it to them. The government wants the project so bad that they made the EPA revise their rules back to the pre-discovery days, which, interestingly enough, has very few regulations regarding gas-to-shore projects. I wonder why. The last government estimated the project to be over $250 million. Now this government is saying $900 million for a 200 megawatt plant. But my question is, why are we going to spend close to $1 billion for a polluting facility that will only last 25 years, when in March of this year, Egypt was approved for a loan to help them build a 200 megawatt solar power plant for $156.4 million. In 2019, Armenia constructed a similar plant for $175 million. In fact, most experts estimate that it takes about $1 million to produce 1 megawatt of solar power. So, if it'll be a fraction of the cost to build a cleaner, safer facility of similar energy output, then again, what is the reason why multiple governments in this country have been pushing this idea? Well, I'll leave that for you to decide. Moving on to our Uncut News Views poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in the nation, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So you give your responses in the comments, and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Yesterday's question was, the government is preparing to pave the Linden-Letton Road. What other major road project should this government implement, and why? Delo Money said, there should be a road from the west coast to Derry and an alternative east coast road. There are currently too few choices of roads for commuters. Brooklyn Roadshow said, Guyana needs to build an interstate highway system connecting all 3 counties that will give the Guyanese people and the GDF easy access throughout the country. And finally, Roderick Herman says, there needs to be one from Oriella to Molson Creek. If a tsunami hits, people from Burby's Bridge to Molson have no high ground to run to. The road will also bring rapid development to this hinterland area in the form of tourism, agriculture, etc. All good thoughts. I wish I could have got to them all, but unfortunately we are out of time. So for tonight's question, countries all around the world are reconsidering their laws to reflect the changing attitudes of modern society. With that being said, I want to know, what is the biggest law you feel is holding back national development in Guyana, and why? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out on Thursday for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night. Hey Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now!